All right, we're going to talk about the TINS unit today, transdermal electro nerve stimulator. This little black box here is what you're going to get. On the inside, we have a couple of things. So once you pull this drawer all the way off, you have just a regular 9-volt battery. Make sure that you keep this little tab underneath it so that you can get it out easily if you need to change it. Once you have the battery in there, you can keep that door on it, and we can leave it in that position. Down here at the bottom, we have 3 different timers. So we have on normal continuous running, so it has no timer on it. We have 15 minutes and 30 minutes. The majority of the time, just keep it on continuous. The only time I would use the timer is going to be if I was going to take a nap or fall asleep. Your subconscious brain doesn't like this very much. Even though the timer turns off, it's still going to run on the inside. So after you wake back up or the timer goes off, you're going to make sure that you turn this back off. Otherwise, it's going to run the battery out. In the top here, we have 2 different dials. Right? I'm going to set it up the right way that it's supposed to come. On this side right here, it should be on the 70. So we always keep that one on that 70. You can see how it's that random number out in the middle. Then this dial right here should be on the 120. I can't quite focus on it, but 120 on the left side and 70 on the right side. At the top, we have different modes. We'll always start out in the middle or in for normal. After about 30 minutes, your brain gets used to the stimulation. So it just gives us the same feeling over and over and over again. The brain starts to ignore it. So you can switch it over to either the M or the B. M is for modulation. It modulates the intensity. B is for beat. It changes the beat of the pulses. Your brain will pay attention to it again. After 30 minutes, just switch it back to another one. And you can vary between all 3 of them if you're going to do it for more than 30 minutes at a time. Once you get it set up on the inside, you're ready to go. So I currently have it on that 120 on this side, 70 on this one, continuous for the timer and in for normal. That's a good starting point for everybody. Now we're going to talk about the business end. At the top, we have a plug on each side, and we have a dial that controls the intensity on each side. It's underneath the cover right here. So each one of these dials is going to control the one next to it. I'm just going to set up one set of the leads. So we get a plug on each side, just like this. So the plug goes into the top right here. You want to make sure that it's seated all the way in the bottom. And then you get a red and a black plug on this side. So positive and negative. In this situation, the positive and negative doesn't matter much. As long as we got 2 of them, we're okay. Now, these are the sticky pads that you're going to get on the inside. Now, these sticky pads are a gel-based adhesive, so it means they're water-based. So the back side of them has this hydroscopic, so it loves water on the backside. As long as you keep them moist, so generally as long as they're on this little plastic tab and in this Ziploc bag, they'll last a long time. If they do dry out, you can spritz them with some water from a hair sprayer, or you can get them a little oversaturated with some water on your finger, and it'll get them sticky again. As long as they're hydrated, they last a long time. Same thing if they get super dirty. If I dropped one on the carpet and it gets really gross, if you oversaturate it, usually you can swipe off any of the dirt, and it's nice and clean and ready to go again. I keep it on the pad when I'm trying to hook everything up. So I'm going to take one of the leads and we're going to put it together. I'm going to take the other lead and we're going to put it together like that, and it's ready to go. Always use the barrels, these tiny little wires. They're very fragile and you can break them pretty easy. As far as the pad goes, always pick it up by one of the corners that doesn't have the wire on it. You're going to want to stick it on some part of your body that has some meat to it. I'm going to use the forearm for simulation purposes here. So we're just going to put it right on the inside of my forearm here. So I got meat right here. If you put it right on a bone, it's not going to feel very good because it doesn't have anywhere for the energy to dissipate. And the purpose of this is to relax muscles and to get some pain relief in those parts and pieces. So I'm hooked up to this side. So I'm going to click it. We're going to see the little green light comes on. It tells us that it's working. I'm going to very, very slowly turn it up until I feel a stimulation. So I'm just looking for a little tingle. Right about there, I'm starting to feel a tingle on these parts and pieces. That's about a 3 for me. In my lower back, I can probably turn it up to a 6 before I feel it. And so depending on the size and shape of the muscle or the area that you're working on, the intensity is going to be different. So you can't have a set position. Now, I can feel a little bit of stimulation. That's all I want. It's just the perception of something happening. After about 5 minutes, my body's going to get used to that, and I'm not going to feel it anymore, and I can turn it up one more time. Only one more time. If you keep turning it up, it's just going to get to the point where we're just in a spasm, and it's not going to help us. It's going to make things worse. So just that one more time, you can turn it up. Again, just to that perception threshold. If something's twitching way too far, it's going to make everything worse. If one of these pads falls off, make sure you turn off the machine before you go to pick up the pad. It's not going to hurt you, but it doesn't feel very great. Same thing if you want to move one of the pads. So if I wanted to move this to another place, I'm going to turn it off first. The only two places I would recommend not putting this are going to be on your head or directly over your heart. So as long as we avoid those two places, it should be fine. Now this device can be used all day, every day if you please. Generally 30 minutes to an hour on parts that are nice and tight before you go to bed is going to be where we're going to use it. If you have a question about where to put it or where to put the leads anytime you're in the office, I'm happy to tell you what part or piece or where we can put it, give you some ideas about that placement. And while we're working on you in the office, we'll tell you, hey, woof, man, this muscle's really, really tight. Good idea would be to use that TENS unit on that muscle until we see you the next time to try and loosen it up. If you have any issues with your machine, there's a couple of checkpoints that you go through. Even though you see a green light, sometimes that battery is just too weak to generate a pulse. And so that light, even though it's really bright green right now, it'll be a little bit less green. Change the battery first. That's going to be one thing. The other thing that I commonly see is that everybody does that 30-minute timer. So on the inside, they'll leave it on that 30-minute timer. This timer doesn't reset until you go to the continuous and turn it on and turn it back off. So it's a tricky little timer. So if you do use that timer, after it runs through the timer, it's going to leave it in that off position. So you want to put it on continuous, and then you want to turn the machine back on. And it should have that green light, and then you can switch it over to one of the timers for the 15 minutes or the 30 minutes. So always start out on that continuous, and it's going to keep that machine running on the inside. If you have some issues with the pads, we can always get you another set. You can get a set on Amazon for super cheap. Any TENS unit pad is going to work. You can get a 10-pack for, I think, $5. So that's super easy on that one. This machine should last you forever. This analog version of it generally doesn't have any issues. Even if you drop it or something like that, typically it's just going to keep lasting. So an average person is going to run through one of those 9-volt batteries in about 4 weeks. So every month or so, if you're using it every night, you should be needing a new battery once a month. And again, you can get those on Amazon or anywhere else that you get a 9-volt battery. Super cheap. If you have any questions, issues, you can always show up at the office, give us a call, give us an email, and we'll get it figured out for you.